Your morning coffee wakes your brain instantly, but it quietly pushes your liver into overwork. That burst of clarity feels natural, yet another organ must pay for it behind the scenes. Caffeine blocks adenosine, removing your tiredness without creating any real biological energy. Harvard researchers call this borrowed alertness because your body is running on future fuel, and the organ responsible for supplying that fuel is always the liver, not the brain. The moment caffeine enters your bloodstream, your liver must stabilize your internal energy. It releases glucose reserves to match the sudden wakefulness created inside your mind. This is why coffee feels powerful, even on mornings when your body still feels exhausted. But the liver faces another responsibility at the exact same time, often overlooked entirely. It must begin clearing ammonia, a natural metabolic waste that slows mental sharpness noticeably. NIH studies show that reducing ammonia improves cognitive function more than caffeine alone. So part of your morning focus comes from detoxification, not stimulation. Yet detoxification demands energy during a moment when your liver is already under pressure, because processing caffeine requires activating a specialized enzyme system called CYP1A2. This enzyme factory works like a chemical assembly line dedicated to breaking down caffeine. It is efficient but limited, especially during early morning metabolic transitions. When caffeine arrives first, this enzyme factory delays processing other everyday toxins. Medications, pesticides, and excess hormones are placed on hold in the detox queue. The delay is small, but becomes significant when repeated every single morning. This explains why some people crash sharply an hour after their first cup of coffee. Their liver is juggling stimulation, detoxification, and hormone clearance at the same time. And each competing task increases the likelihood of an early energy dip. But the complexity does not end with liver enzymes working under pressure. Once the liver shifts into overload mode, other organs immediately step into the conversation. Your gallbladder prepares for bile release. Your gut prepares for increased movement, and more. Even your genes influence how fast you process caffeine compared to someone else. A single morning cup becomes a full-body negotiation across multiple interconnected systems. And this negotiation hides a deeper truth most people have never been told. Because the way your liver responds to coffee can either support detoxification or silently disrupt it. Understanding that turning point is the key to knowing whether coffee protects or strains your health. And as you move deeper into this video, each layer will reveal how coffee shapes your liver, your gut, and your long-term metabolic resilience. Your liver never works alone, and coffee proves this the moment it reaches your digestion. While the liver stabilizes energy, another organ awakens to support the morning detox wave. That organ is your gallbladder, a small yet powerful reservoir often forgotten entirely. Most people never realize how deeply their morning coffee influences this compact structure. The link becomes clear once you understand how bile shapes detoxification and digestion. Bile is not just a digestive fluid, but the liver's primary pathway for releasing fat-soluble toxins. When the gallbladder contracts, it pushes this bile downward like a surge of internal cleansing. Coffee, especially caffeinated coffee, strongly stimulates hormone CCK to trigger this contraction. CCK acts like a biochemical command, telling the gallbladder to squeeze with confident force. This squeeze sends a fresh stream of bile directly into your small intestine for detoxification. Many people feel this moment as the sudden urge for a morning bowel movement. Scientists call it the gastrocolic reflex. But your body sees it as a successful toxin exit, because the increased motility prevents old toxins from being reabsorbed through your gut lining. This means the morning poop is not an accident, but a sign of functional detox efficiency. And for many individuals with sluggish bile, this stimulation is remarkably beneficial. Sluggish bile occurs when the gallbladder empties poorly, causing toxins to accumulate silently. People experience bloating, constipation, headaches, or difficulty digesting fatty foods. Their liver becomes congested because the exit pathway for detox is partially blocked. Coffee breaks that stagnation by encouraging a more complete release of stored bile. This is why studies show coffee reduces the risk of gallstones in consistent daily drinkers. By keeping bile moving, you prevent crystallization and inflammation within the gallbladder. But this bile flow does more than protect against stones or digestive discomfort. It creates a ripple that influences your gut bacteria, nutrient absorption, and inflammation levels. Healthy bile flow prevents harmful bacterial overgrowth by keeping your intestines in motion. It supports fat digestion, vitamin absorption, and the elimination of fat-soluble metabolic waste. So, the morning cup does not operate through stimulation alone. It restores a forgotten rhythm, a rhythm in which the liver produces, the gallbladder releases, and the gut completes the cycle. But here is where the next layer emerges, with even more unexpected influence. This connection between coffee and bile forms only half the story of your digestive ecosystem, because everything the gallbladder releases must flow into an environment governed by your gut. And what coffee does to that environment reveals another dimension of liver protection, a dimension shaped not by detox alone, but by the microbiome itself and its delicate balance. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, leave a comment with 1 so I know this content is valuable to you. And so we can keep creating meaningful videos that you won't want to miss. Your liver receives nearly all its blood directly from your gut, creating a powerful hidden link. This means whatever escapes your intestines travels straight to the liver without any warning. That relationship forms the core of the gut-liver axis, a system many people overlook completely. When the gut is healthy, the liver receives clean nutrients and minimal inflammatory signals. But when the gut becomes permeable, the liver absorbs toxins it was never meant to handle. This permeability is known as leaky gut, a condition intensified by stress and poor diet. In this state, bacterial fragments slip through microscopic gaps in your gut lining. These fragments, called endotoxins or LPS, immediately trigger inflammation inside your liver. This inflammation can occur even without alcohol or obvious digestive symptoms. For many people, unexplained fatigue or brain fog begins with this silent inflammatory leak. And here is where coffee steps into the story with surprising influence. Coffee is one of the richest dietary sources of polyphenols in the modern Western diet. These polyphenols travel through your stomach mostly undigested, reaching the colon intact. Once there, they become prebiotics, feeding beneficial bacterial groups like Bacteroidetes. These microbes ferment polyphenols into short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate. Butyrate strengthens the intestinal wall, reducing permeability and improving gut resilience. With fewer gaps in the gut lining, fewer toxins reach the liver each morning. This protective effect indirectly reduces liver inflammation and metabolic stress significantly. Some studies even suggest coffee compounds help regulate zonulin, a gut permeability marker. Lower zonulin means tighter junctions and stronger intestinal barriers overall. A stronger barrier protects the liver from endotoxin overload and chronic inflammatory signaling. This is why people with better gut balance often tolerate coffee more comfortably. Their liver receives cleaner blood, allowing caffeine metabolism to occur without disruption. Meanwhile, improved gut motility from coffee prevents old toxins from recirculating again. This breaks the cycle known as enterohepatic recirculation, a burden that strains liver detox. So, coffee does not protect the liver only through chemistry, it protects it through geography. By strengthening the gut wall, coffee shields the liver from dangers long before they arrive. Part 4. The battle against scarring and the paradox of liver fat. Have you ever wondered why fatty liver often progresses silently until it becomes irreversible? This silence occurs because the liver has no pain receptors to warn you early enough. By the time symptoms appear, inflammation has already begun reshaping healthy liver cells. But here is the deeper question many people forget to ask. Why does the liver build fat in the first place, instead of clearing it efficiently? The answer lies in survival, because storing fat protects the liver from inflammatory overload. When toxins, sugars, and endotoxins rise, the liver wraps them inside fat droplets safely. This protective mechanism becomes dangerous only when the underlying stress continues daily. And this is where coffee begins influencing the storyline in an unexpected direction. Have you ever noticed your body feeling lighter after consistent morning coffee? That feeling reflects increased lipolysis, the release of stored fats into circulation. Caffeine stimulates adrenaline receptors, encouraging fat cells to free their stored energy. But here is the twist that requires your attention. If your diet remains high in sugar, released fat cannot be burned effectively. Those fats then flow back to the liver, worsening fatty liver instead of reducing it. This is the paradox many people face without realizing what is truly happening. Coffee helps mobilize fat, but your diet determines where that fat finally ends up. Now, consider another question that surprises most viewers. Can coffee actually soften liver scar tissue and slow the progression of fibrosis? Science suggests yes, and the mechanism is more fascinating than most expect. When you metabolize caffeine, your body produces a compound called paraxanthine. Paraxanthine suppresses CTGF, a molecule that stiffens liver cells and promotes scarring. It also interferes with TGF-beta, the central driver of fibrosis progression. This means your morning cup delivers more than stimulation. It delivers anti-fibrotic signals. But here is where your choice becomes crucial. High-quality coffee protects the liver, while low-quality coffee introduces mold toxins. Those toxins force the liver to fight inflammation that coffee should be reducing. So your morning ritual can either heal or harm depending on the beans you choose. Have you ever wondered why some people thrive on coffee while others feel drained? Slow caffeine metabolizers process caffeine longer, increasing stress hormones in the liver. Fast metabolizers clear caffeine quickly, gaining benefits without hormonal disruption. Your genetics silently shape your relationship with every sip more than you realize. And understanding that relationship shows why coffee can be medicine for one person and stress for another. This complexity sets the stage for one crucial question. If coffee protects the liver so well, why do some people feel worse after drinking it? This confusion often comes from hidden forces living inside the beans themselves. 2%. Coffee is one of the world's most contaminated crops due to humid harvesting conditions. During drying and storage, mold can grow and release dangerous toxins into the beans. One of these toxins is ochratoxin A, a chemical known to stress both liver and kidneys. When you drink low-quality coffee, your liver must immediately deactivate these mold toxins. This unexpected detox load steals resources the liver could use for healing and repair. Over time, this hidden strain can amplify inflammation instead of reducing it. Have you ever felt jittery, fatigued, or mentally foggy after certain coffee brands? That fog often originates from mold toxins, not caffeine sensitivity. Even small amounts can disrupt mitochondrial function and burden liver detox pathways. And mold is only half the story behind coffee's darker side. Coffee crops receive some of the heaviest pesticide applications in industrial agriculture. These pesticides accumulate in the beans and must be neutralized by the liver after ingestion. If your daily cup carries pesticides, the liver shifts into chemical defense mode immediately. This mode diverts energy away from detox efficiency and metabolic balance. It also increases oxidative stress, slowly wearing down cellular resilience over time. But perhaps the most overlooked factor is hidden within your DNA itself. Not everyone metabolizes caffeine at the same speed or with the same efficiency. People with a
Are you
slow
dealing with
CYP1A2
cortisol
variant
imbalance
break
or
down
bad
caffeine
sleep?
significantly more slowly. For them, caffeine lingers, elevating cortisol and restricting blood flow to the liver. This hormonal shift increases abdominal fat storage and worsens fatty liver progression. On the other hand, fast metabolizers clear caffeine efficiently and gain protective benefits. Their morning cup supports enzyme activity instead of overwhelming it. This genetic difference explains why two people drinking the same coffee feel opposite outcomes. Have you ever wondered why your friend feels energized while you feel drained? Your metabolism may carry a genetic bottleneck that changes everything about your coffee experience. And there is one more complication hidden within these metabolic differences. Slow metabolizers experience prolonged caffeine exposure that disrupts nighttime melatonin release. Poor sleep increases insulin resistance, which forces more fat into the liver. So, for some people, coffee indirectly worsens liver health through sleep disruption. These shadows reveal an uncomfortable truth many coffee lovers never consider. Coffee can heal or harm depending on the bean, the farming, and your genetics. If coffee influences your liver so deeply, the real question becomes simple but essential. How do you drink it in a way that strengthens your biology instead of overwhelming it? The answer begins with understanding that coffee is a tool, not a shortcut or a cure. Your liver responds to signals, and coffee is one of the strongest morning signals you provide. When used wisely, that signal activates detox pathways and fuels metabolic balance beautifully. But when used carelessly, the same signal can amplify inflammation and stress your liver silently. So, the true power of coffee lies not in the drink itself, but in the timing and the intention. Have you ever noticed coffee feeling smoother when you drink it after a small meal? That happens because your liver receives fuel before receiving stimulation. This sequence prevents cortisol spikes and stabilizes blood sugar during caffeine metabolism. It also protects your gallbladder by pairing bile release with proper digestive flow. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach, however, forces the liver into immediate reaction mode. This mode increases ammonia clearance demands and intensifies caffeine's metabolic workload. By shifting coffee slightly later, you give your liver the stability it needs to perform optimally. But there is another element that quietly determines whether your coffee becomes medicine. Your choice of beans shapes the detox landscape your liver must navigate each morning. Organic, mold-free, well-stored beans reduce toxin exposure dramatically and lighten liver burden. This cleaner input allows CYP1A2 enzymes to focus on caffeine metabolism without distractions. A clean bean becomes a clean signal, one the liver interprets as supportive rather than stressful. And there is one more insight that reshapes everything about your relationship with coffee. Your liver thrives on rhythm far more than intensity or quantity. Consistent daily timing trains your detox pathways to anticipate caffeine's arrival predictably. This creates a stable metabolic pattern instead of unpredictable hormonal fluctuations. Even taking one caffeine-free day weekly strengthens adenosine receptors and restores sensitivity. Your liver rests, resets, and returns stronger the following morning. This rhythm transforms coffee from stimulation into synergy, a partnership instead of a push. So what truly happens to your liver when you drink coffee every morning? It adapts, responds, protects, and negotiates on your behalf with remarkable intelligence. Your morning cup can ignite detoxification, strengthen metabolism, and support cellular resilience. Or it can burden your enzymes, accumulate toxins, and silently shape metabolic strain. The difference is not the coffee. The difference is how you use it. And when used with awareness, intention, and rhythm, coffee becomes a powerful ally for your liver's longevity. Hope this video brought you real value, and I'll see you in the next one.